When the Oklahoma City bombing happened 28 years ago today, search and rescue teams worked for 17 days in the rubble of the Murrah Federal Building.
First responders from all around the world came to help. News on 6's Bobby Miller talked with medical volunteers who created a makeshift city as a refuge for all those rescue workers.
Is this?
That's me.
That's you, yes. Okay, yes.
Much to look back on.
This was where they could come away from the devastation and get loved on and taken care of and fed. I mean, look at the donuts. I mean, so many donuts.
Laugh a little and feel a release. It's what people under great stress do in such times.
Governor Keating was down there.
And he needed some Tums?
Apparently.
Okay. I can imagine that's the governor at the time.
The women poring over picture albums with me
I don't even remember me. I was a baby working down here.
brought back together after many years to remember. Shelley Clay had just finished a double shift in the newborn unit at a Metro hospital. Instead of climbing into bed, she turned on the TV to see downtown OKC after the explosion.
About a third of the building has been blown away.
She was 23, months out of nursing school, and knew she had to go.
They just put a notice out throughout the hospital. So my mom and I were both said, yeah, you know, we want to help. Yes, absolutely. And so we came, I believe it was the next day.
At Ground Zero, she and a team of doctors and nurses jumped in.
The workers, of course, were in horrible conditions, you know, going through the building, and they even had the rescue dogs. And so there were lots of cuts and scrapes. We could doctor the dog's paws. Some of that happened. And then we also gave some B12 shots for just stamina.
The tiny makeshift medic stand met immediate needs on site. But a block away, a city was forming. The mayor of it, a take charge, make it happen kind of lady, Dr. Sheila Simpson.
My husband, who was on the police force at that time, was telling me about what he had done that day. He was on the emergency response team, had been at the site, and I was telling him how frustrated I was because I wanted to do something to help and I couldn't help anyone. And he said, why don't you come down with me tomorrow?
An ambitious Dr. Simpson closed her private practice and began recruiting.
I sent out this fax. I got this huge response. Every doctor I knew at the hospital sent me back information. Just tell me when and we'll be there.
The eager team was formed and dubbed their new home the OKC MASH unit. Now, in 2023, it's OCU's School of Law. But then, in 1995, it was the Southwestern Bell Center, and they turned the parking garage into the command center.
I saw that we needed medications for these rescue workers. Some of them started having bacterial infections from breathing this dust in. They were walking through all the debris, and they were cutting their feet, even through their thick-soled boots.
The injuries and ailments grew, and so did their city of help. 50 volunteers and everything a worker might want, from cough drops to allergy medicine, was provided. And then there was emotional support.
We give them the hugs, and it's like, did you find a body today? It was eerie. It was silent. Yeah. There was a fine mist, and they walked us right by that pancaked area, and it was before they had taken the babies out. It haunts me.
Dr. Simpson and Shelley also felt the loss of one of their own. Chair 168 is for Rebecca Anderson. She was a nurse who rushed to the federal building as soon as she learned of the tragedy. She died of a head injury sustained while trying to rescue someone.
I hate that that happened, but she gave her life for her fellow man. Greater love hath no man than to lay down his life for his fellow man. Right by these doors.
The ladies went back to the spot where such care was provided.
We set up.
So many years ago.
It was our cardboard clinic.
Life was taken at the bombing. Love was poured out here.
Sometimes it seemed a little chaotic, and other times it was peaceful under here. I think this was the refuge.
The city closed after 17 days. Search and rescue was over, and it was time for demolition. But the memories and life learned can never be torn down.
Just as fresh as like it was yesterday, and really knowing that, hey, there's a lot of lives have been shattered, not just the ones that were lost, but the people they love. It really made you know 168 lives were taken, but millions were affected.